Hello, today I'm going to be doing a deck profile on my, what I like to call my budget Monarch deck. I got a lot of these cards from the 3 structure decks when they first came out a while back, and I figured because of Link Summoning coming out, Monarchs are starting to get bigger and bigger and coming back, so thought why not do a deck profile today. Starts off, I run of course the 1 Ether and the 3 Herberus. I run these, they're the main things to get. You can get them in the structure deck, you might be lucky to get them from somewhere else, either works, but mainly you've got to pick up these if you want to start building this deck. Next, I run the 2 Karazes. I am working on trying to get a third. It is harder though, because it didn't come in the structure deck, but if you do have 3, I recommend running 3 of course. Easy way to get around a lot of board, or if you want to destroy something on your board, get the field going, either way works. Most of the time you'll be destroying your back row cards that you want in the grave rather than your opponent's, so you can get the draw power you need. Next, one set cost. I run this primarily because I don't have 3 Karazes, and it's just a bonus one that once someone destroys something, you can just get rid of something on your opponent's side of the field. So it is quite useful. Moving on, I run, finally, out of my top powerful monsters, 2 Vanity's Fiend. Once again, if I had a third, I would definitely run a third. It stops your opponent from it stops everyone from special summoning, but mainly your opponent, because this deck doesn't need a lot of special summoning after you bring out your beast monsters. So, moving on, I run my 3 Edia Squires, primarily because I also run 3 Edius, and its effect is just great. You know, you normal summon, you get to special summon, and if you bring out Edius, then you go on tribute summon going, and you can just bring out your boss monsters. I personally run 3 at the moment of these guys. Some people run 2, but I personally just run 3 because he's a good one at the moment. If I do get a third Vanity's Fiend and a third Karaz, I'll definitely take out these 2, but for the time being they're staying in the deck. To finish off my monsters, I also run the 1 Mithra. It's a nice one to bring out, just an extra monster that can be easily tribute summoned. Next, onto the spells. I run 1 Pathesium. It's just great. If you don't have it or don't know what it does, I recommend getting it, because it gives you the draw power you need, and a little bit of focus. Sorry. Anyway, I'll just read it. It gives you the draw power you need, and you can banish from your graveyard and choose 3 cards from your deck. Your opponent chooses 1, adds it to your hand, the rest get shuffled back, but 9 out of 10 you want to be running 3 of the cards you really want to get from this, or at least 2, and your opponent will pick 1. So no matter what, you really want to get you always gain the card you really want. Next, I run the 3 Tenacities. You searcher, these spells and traps just by revealing 1 monster in your hand. That meets the requirements of the attack. Next, I run 2 of each, Return of the Monarchs and March of the Monarchs. Return allows you, when you tribute summon, search for another particular monster, meaning the requirements of the attack, won't go on, and adds it to your hand. March of the Monarch just protects your monsters from being targeted by card effects, so it gets around that whole dark hole or anything like that. So it's really well. They also can't be targeted or destroyed, so if you go up against something that targets a lot of your monsters, your opponent won't be able to do that if you've got this on your hand, on the field. Next, I run 3 Domains. Build card, great at it. It's great for allowing you to tribute summon your high level monsters because it gets the level down and gives them extra attack when they attack. Extra 800, I believe. Yeah, 800 attack boost. Saying that, I run the 2 terraforming, just to search for domain. Just to search for domain. It's quite useful. I only run the 2 because you can majority win without having domain on the field. It's just a little bonus if you do. To finish off my Monarch cards, I do run the 1 Stormforth. Always running it no matter what, because you can use your opponent's monsters to tribute yours, so there is no downside to it. Next, I run 2 Foolish Burials. Foolish Burial of Goods, I should say. Just gets rid of a spell or trap that you don't want, or that is better in the graveyard. And then, of course, the 1 Foolish Burial for your monsters to get rid of. Depending on which one you want in the grave, a lot of the card effects go off in the grave. Next, I run the 1 Reasoning. I run this because not many people do, but I like to run it because I activate it. My opponent calls a number. 9 out of 10 they won't call the right number, but every monster in my entire deck can be normal summoned, so it meets the requirements. If it goes for a low one, then I can still tribute summon it with it. If it goes for a high one, bonus. So there's no real downside, and a lot of the spells traps that get sent to the grave, I don't mind because their effects can be activated from the grave. Like, Parathesium allows me to search, and anything I don't want gets sent to the grave. So it does limit your deck, but it's a downside because some cards you might want do get sent to the grave, but others it's quite useful. Just a matter of opinion. To finish off, I do run the 1 for 1 Reinforcement of the Army, 1 Regeki, and 1 Dark Hole. Board wipe with these 2, and just allows me to search or special summon with this one. Go for the monsters I need, or go for Idiot. No matter what, you want to be going for Idiot with either one of these. To finish off, I do run 2 Prime Monarchs. Only trap I use, because a lot of the cards I do have, there aren't many traps you really need to be running with this deck. Monarchs decks don't rely on much traps. That's what makes them pretty fun to play. That's it for my Monarch deck. Hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like, subscribe if you do, and I'll be making a lot more deck profiles in the future. More and more, hopefully, each day.